What is up, Geeks and Geekettes? It's another episode of the Countdown City Geekcast. My name is Steady. With me on this episode is the man, the myth, the legend. You know him as JC.
Hey everybody. How's it going?
And we also get the man behind the magic, the one and only Joe Garcia. What's going on, Joe?
No, nothing, man. Just starting the week and hoping all my kids wind up getting better because been a long weekend. Everybody's been sick.
It's an infirmary over there, bro.
Yep. Have to quarantine myself over here in my studio. And next on my bucket list here, because I've been bored, is making some beer. So I got the fermenter up there and it's going to be ready to go in about a day or two.
Do they have the Omarion variant? Is that what it is? The Omarion variant?
No, man.
No.
I got sinus infections.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't even want to mess with that Omarion variant because I'm hoping that my buddy Taro will be able to come into town in December. He's coming from Japan and he's got the Japanese whiskey that he's bringing me. So I don't want that to be delayed, and maybe some sake too. So hopefully he gets to come over here.
We had a great show for you guys. That's not about that. We're going to be talking about the first two episodes of the brand new Hawkeye series on Disney Plus, featuring Jeremy Renner, of course, as well as Haley Steinfeld. And then we're also going to be continuing our Young Justice Phantoms season 4 discussion, rounding out the arc 2 around Artemis and
Artemis Arc. Yeah.
Artemis Arc. That's episodes 7 and 8. So, yeah, gonna be an exciting episode. Let's go ahead and start off with the Hawkeye series, actually, because I know that's sort of like the big thing, the premiere that happened recently. So, the Hawkeye series dropped last week, and Joe, you and I sort of did a instant reaction to it, but now we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of it all. And I kind of have a bunch of bullet points. I don't know if I should go through all of these, but let's start out with let's go with your favorite parts of the episode. What do you really like about it? And let's start there. Give us your thoughts, man.
No, my thoughts. I just thought it was funny. I mean, it's a good way to kind of showcase a Marvel character who's, let's face it, for all intents and purposes, is the most boring Avenger. You know, he's the most boring Avenger compared to the other guys. You know, doesn't have any superhuman abilities. You know, he's not, blessed with any, meta human abilities like the Scarlet Witch or Captain America. But just being a human and just trying to be a dad, it should be a superpower in its own. And that's what I think is funny and humanizes, Hawkeye. And you can kind of relate to a lot of the plights that he's going through in this particular series. And I think the star of the show is no doubt Haley Steinfeld. She elevates the show and makes it really something different, and especially her character that she's portraying, Kate Bishop. I thought the dynamic between her and Hawkeye on screen was really fun to watch. It kind of reminded me a lot of Lethal Weapon, that kind of action, but it's still comedy, but they still get themselves in a lot of trouble, it's fun. It's a fun movie a fun series to watch. And I enjoyed it thoroughly. I even liked the one-eyed dog they had. Thought that was a nice touch. Yeah, thought that was a nice touch. But I particularly liked when they're showing Hawkeye and the family dynamic, him just being a dad, trying to spend time with his kids. And I got to say, the Rogers musical was horrid, pure torture for anybody to watch.
And poor Clint getting all of his getting kind of emotional because he's seeing the woman play Natasha on stage, and so that definitely wasn't easy for him.
The hearing aid, which is showing his, what he's gone through as far as all these battles have, that he's been in. They've taken a toll on his body.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I like that they called that out, and they're really showing like how it's impacted him. Hang on one second.
Here comes the star of the show.
Hello, little lady.
It's been a while since she's been on. My little Ghostbusters, what she is.
What are you doing up so late? Go to bed.
You should give her the mic, Ted. She's ready to go.
She'll start singing show tunes.
All right.
Let's see here. You know what? It's interesting, how they're they're setting this plot in motion. Kate's mom, who I'm gonna bring up a lot because she's a shady character. There's way too many nefarious people around Kate's mom, and Kate's mom is very calm about all of it. So I'm already getting red flags with regards to the mom. But anyway, there's this black market auction going down, and Kate stumbles upon it because her mom's fiance is participating in this auction. And what do you know it? It's an auction of things found and recovered from the Avengers campus rubble. And one of the things found was Ronin's suit, played or worn by Clint Barton, as well as Ronin's sword. And so it's really interesting
which were
that
stolen from the Avengers compound, by the way.
Yeah.
yes, I just mentioned that these are all recovered artifacts from the Avengers compound. And so it's really interesting to put that into the story that Clint is just on this vacation with his kids, and his old suit happens to show up on the news, and it's he has to now go find out what the heck is this thing doing on the news, and why are they saying that this person is committing these crimes. Now a prime suspect in the death of Armand, who was the uncle of said fiance of Kate's mom. Which, listen, spoiler alert for episodes 1 and 2. We don't know for sure, but we know, right, Joe, that
He's
Armand was killed by his nephew, most likely using the sword of Ronin. Are you on that same page?
Yeah, not only that, but the guy, Tony Dalton is the actor, and he
Yeah,
played Jack Dukins in the series. He's also eh, he's gonna be swordsman, you know, from
swordman.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, from the MCU. So that's of course, what how else would he want to kill somebody but with the sword, you know? So I'm sure he probably used Ronin's sword as well to do the deed, you know?
no, I absolutely agree, and it's a weird thing uh, but those candies was like that's
Oh,
the clue that they really focus on. I'll go with it, but I'm like, we could have come up with something a little bit better. Just like a candy is not going to be the only thing that you could have kind of pointed
but
towards. That was
doesn't Marvel like to kind of tease everybody with candy? They did the same thing with the Loki series, the
oh,
Boo Berry or whatever it was, you know?
Mhm.
So
I wonder what it is.
yeah,
Who's a big candy fan? Maybe it's Kevin Feige.
probably, but that's always seems to kind of pop up, in some of these series, the candy, the infamous candy, the candy trail. Let's put it like that.
Are you liking the tracksuit mafia, bro?
Yeah, bro. I
Yeah,
thought
bro.
they're freaking hilarious, man. And I did in fact like the little teaser at the end, there where they kind of finally unveil the big character unveil of Echo, So
Echo, absolutely. Which they've already announced the series, so um, really exciting. Like what they plan on doing with these projects. So Echo is definitely like managing the tracksuit mafia from what it appears, but she has major ties to Kingpin in the comics. So it really makes you wonder if Marvel Studios is really trying to go there. And if they
they can
are,
introduce Daredevil,
we're all for it, man. Yeah, we're already getting teased about Daredevil showing up in a few movies. Wouldn't it be something if Kingpin shows up in a series, or at least more people tied to Kingpin? Keep doing it. Keep dropping it.
Yeah, and that's cool though because Echo in the storyline, she's deaf. Mad
Yeah,
Murdock, and Daredevil
she is in
can't
this.
see.
She is in the show too because
Yeah.
you see her trying to feel the vibrations from that speaker she was touching.
Yeah.
So I think they're following through with that, definitely.
So that's a nice touch from the comic book.
How great was the LARPing scene in episode 2? So Clint goes after his Ronin outfit. It's in Kate's apartment. They track it down, and they're in there. They get attacked by the tracksuit mafia. They set the apartment ablaze, and they have to get out, leave the suit behind. A firefighter who happens to be a part of the New York LARPers takes it, and the only way for Clint to get it back is to him to humiliate himself and go through this entire LARPing activity. Which I'm not hating on LARPers. I
Yeah, live action role play is
do
a thing, bro.
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, but for Clint, he wasn't enjoying any of it, and
Oh, come
so
on now. I think he was a little bit at the end.
no, I think it was actually pretty devastating, if you ask me, especially since he died LARPing the same way of his last kill when he was Ronin. Did you notice that? Same exact fatal blow.
Yeah, but I'm saying it looked like at some point in time when you're looking at the scenes, he kind of enjoyed himself a little bit. Yes, it was demeaning to him, and he went in with,
He fought Thanos, bro. He
r-
fought Thanos.
yeah, I mean, he went in, but he was kind of like, "Oh God, what is this gonna be like? Why am I doing this? Why do I have to follow rules?" But at the end of the day, I think it was a good release for him. Just to kind of let out some frustration and have some fun. Yeah, it ended in a on a sour note for him, but he did get the Ronin costume back.
He did. He did. You know what's interesting is that this series opened up on the Battle of New York, and we actually saw. I'm almost certain this is the only casualty that I've seen in any MCU project. Was Kate's dad.
Oh,
Um,
there was probably a ton more, but yeah, it's cool for them to show how
yeah,
it affects
no,
other
no,
people, the
you're
citizens.
Mm-hmm.
you're right, and I think it's always been sort of something that Marvel should do more often is show the stakes that are at risk, and that would be the lives of citizens. Too many times we just don't see anything happening to anybody. We can assume, but it's really hard to kind of put into perspective when you're not seeing it. So seeing Kate's dad, uh, at least off screen, but we know for sure that he passed during the Battle of New York. That's interesting that we actually saw that, and it was Clint's arrow that saved Kate during this sequence, and so it just makes all the more sense that she admires him and wants to follow in his footsteps.
Yeah, I think there was some great things that Marvel did there. Show the Battle of New York, which was happening, I believe, what the time was 2012.
Yep.
Um, so they show what's happening, the invasion that's occurring, and they show everybody just being taken by surprise. They're in utter shock and disbelief, can't believe what they're seeing falling out of the sky. Aliens and these great beasts, coming down and ascending on New York. So it's a terrifying scene for a little girl, which is portrayed by, Haley Steinfeld, which is playing Kate Bishop. And she's looking for her mom. She's looking for her dad, crying out to them, confused, scared. Then all of a sudden, you see the mom pop out, and she's just as confused and scared, but she's looking for her daughter. And
Yeah.
that's when, half of their penthouse winds up just missing. It gets blown up, and then you see the aftermath that yes, they did in fact lose her father. But before that, one of the other things that was interesting to me was the plight of the family. You're seeing that the mom and dad are in fact arguing over financial difficulties that are occurring. They're going to have to sell the penthouse that her father has grown up in, and Kate Bishop overhears this, and she makes some noise up in her room, and they kind of like, oh, she was eavesdropping, and that's the last time that she was actually going to talk to her father. When her father went in there, talked to her and tell her things are going to be okay, and lo and behold, as soon as he leaves, just a couple minutes later, all hell breaks loose. And that was the last interaction she had with her father. I'm sure that that's a memory that will pop up again and again throughout the series, but you get to see fast forward what happens later in life, after her father's death, and her mom all of a sudden comes into some cash, comes into some money, starts a new company, so now she's running, what is it, Bishop Security, I
That's
believe
right.
that's what it's called. And we see her interacting with Armand. What was it, Armand the fifth or Armand the sixth? Because he had a son and he was Armand the seventh. you know
Yeah.
so I thought that was hilarious. Oh, this is Armand. And she's like, really?
Really.
He's trying to introduce his son. Armand is trying to introduce his son to Kate Bishop at a swanky party. But let's, emphasize on what was actually going on and why she was even at that party. Because she had done something, Ted.
We don't know, but that's what I was saying earlier is that she is in cahoots or cohorts with a lot of nefarious people. Like these aren't good dudes that are at a black market auction.
Seems like
So
she kind of owes them money. Don't you get the sense that that's what's going on?
I mean, he called her a fraud. He says that, you aren't really anything. Everything you are is fake or whatever he says. So it really makes you wonder what kind of business ties does she have? Is anything she do is anything she does legit? Sorry, can't talk.
Maybe she was the one behind the black auction, the black market auction.
Could be. It's like I said, I'm expecting some negative things to come from this mom, and it's gonna break, I think, Haley's heart. I think when it happens, and I don't know how bad things are gonna get, but I feel
She's
like
very naive as to what's going
oh,
on
I
with her
you
mom.
know
With her mom, I think
oh
she's
yeah,
Haley
Haley
is. Haley is, Kate
yeah.
Bishop. She's very naive to the ongoings of what's happening with her mother and the people that she's actually hanging around. She comes home for the holidays, of course, because she got in some trouble at college because she was, let's say, going through with the bet. They dared her to go ahead and hit the bell tower with an arrow and make it ring.
That was really weird. I don't know what the college student would really be that curious about doing that. I
It was a bit odd, and then she hits the rope and the bell rings, and then all of a sudden she hit it with an arrow that had a was it a tennis ball tied to it and a piece of rope or something, and ties around the little pull string, the rope
yeah.
that makes the bell ring, and all of a sudden the bell rings and then it just crashes to the ground, and she destroyed the clock tower and her mom has to pay for it, and that's why she is harkened back home, probably because holiday season plus the mom wants to scold her for her having to pay for her crap, for her mess up.
You know what the actual question I think we should be asking is, this tracksuit mafia gang, what is this watch? Why on earth would a watch be of any value to anyone, enough to steal at a black market auction, which I would assume should have some way more heavy security presence than what it did. But Joe, knowing what we know, whose watch or what does this watch do that would have come from the rubble at this Avengers campus?
The only other thing you can think of is that this watch has or contains some information inside of it. Now, what
Ooh,
that information might be, we don't actually know because it could be maybe a secret from Hydra. Could it be, you know, uh, Howard Stark's? Could it be whose watch is it? Because it's an old school watch. It's nothing digital or fancy, but
no, it's not. I don't think it's this is what's curious. I don't know if it's the exact watch that the person was holding or if there's another one. Because you're right, the one that we saw didn't look special in any way.
no, not at all. We don't know if there's something engraved in the watch. Is there something that lies underneath the face of the watch? It has to reveal something. It's important enough for people to go crazy over. But not only that, but the tracksuit mafia is also going after her because she donned the Ronin costume, you
Yep.
know, and started acting as a vigilante, handing out vigilante justice. And she didn't understand the ramifications of her actually donning the Ronin costume and what that entails. It's going to attract the attention of a lot of the insidious types of people that the gangs in the city, in other words, the underbelly of society, they're going to come after you because in that wearing that costume, a lot of bad things happened. Clinton Barton made a lot of enemies, killed a lot of people, you know. So she doesn't understand what she did. And I think the dynamic there between Hawkeye and Kate Bishop It's kind of a like a he's the father figure, and she's like kind of the adopted daughter, and I think that he's always trying to protect her in a way and trying to explain to her because she is very naive,
Yeah,
to a lot of things that she's doing. I think that works though. It's a great dynamic, and then they kind of play off of that, and she still, kind of makes fun of him, and they have this very good banter back and forth, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
absolutely. And what I really like about their relationship dynamic is that everything that's happening in Kate's mind is like really cool espionage stuff. Oh, we're going to a secret safe house. Oh, we're gonna go do this. Oh, we're gonna go do that. Like everything in her mind is
It's
like
new to her.
exciting. Well, but
Yeah,
she thinks the next thing around the corner is exciting. And
yeah,
whereas in Clint's mind is like, no, this is all just a burden. I don't want to be doing anything like this. And it's not as flamboyant as you think it is. He's not James Bond.
yeah.
We aren't on a secret op mission. But Kate's mind, this is an adventure. So it's funny seeing how excited she gets about things, about where they're going or what's the next step. Like, teach me, train me. How do we do this or how do we do that?
Yeah.
But
Even
in
when she
Kate's
got roughed
mind,
up, I thought that was a funny scene when she got roughed up by the tracksuit mafia. Then they had to go to the pharmacy to get supplies, and she's like, "Oh, are we gonna get like cool supplies?" She thinks they're gonna get like exploding arrow tips and all that. He's like, "No, I just need
which is
Band-Aids and Neosporin."
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's so funny, and she's asking about the trick arrows, and he's like, "Those
Yeah.
are arrows." So it's funny that that's going to be the dynamic going forward. She wants to be all secret agent, sword shield person, and he's just like he's not shutting her down, but he's also not like um teasing her along the way like it's gonna happen. So it's some in between thing that he's actually doing with her to kind of make
He
sure he
he
gets
just
what
wants
he
to
needs.
go he wants to go home, Ted. He wants to be with his family. He wants to be there with them doing the corny stuff, doing the gingerbread houses and wrapping presents and decorating, putting up the tree, putting up the lights. He just wants to be enjoying his family because he hadn't let's understand where he's
He
coming
lost a lot
from.
of time.
He
Mhm.
missed a lot of time with them, and then when they all came back, with the snap, he's trying to make up for lost time, and
Mhm.
you see that, in the early on in the series while he's having dinner and they're seeing Rogers the musical, and then they go and have some was I think it was some Chinese food, uh, in a Chinese restaurant, and then the guy he tries to pay, and then the waiter comes over and says, "No, no, it's on
On the
us. It's
house.
on the house. Least we can do you because you saved the city." And you can see that he's kinda like, "No, it's not necessary, it's cool. I was just doing" kinda like, "Hey, I was just doing my job. I can really pay for dinner. You don't have to treat me special."
Right.
For something that he was just doing as part of his job, So you can see that that's something that he kinda struggles with. He doesn't want the attention. He doesn't want the pictures. He doesn't wanna take selfies with people, but he understands that it comes along with the territory. These people idolize you. They look at you as a hero because you helped save them?
It's curious that this is something that they're doing in the show, because if you're trying to beat us over the head with all of this, he doesn't like the fame, he doesn't like the attention, he doesn't I mean, he appreciates their gratitude, but he doesn't need it. Um, is an arc gonna be at the end of the series or season, this season, gonna be that he kind of embraces it?
Right?
And that would
Because
be interesting
yeah,
to
because
see
Kate
him do that.
Bishop's always telling him, "You're my favorite Avenger, but
You gotta
your
work on the
marketing's
brand.
all bad, you market yourself horrible, you need a better brand." That's what she keeps telling him.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think that's gonna be interesting to see if that's gonna be his arc, and what does that look like, you know? That'd be curious, fascinating to see Clint Barton sort of embracing the hero and the fame that comes along with it.
I think he's starting to understand as far as like Kate Bishop, her character and how she idolizes him, and the lengths that she's going to to be there with him, on this journey that they're on together. That whether he likes it or not, young people do look up to him.
Sure.
So I think it's going to leave a lasting impression on him, and it's going to be a great dynamic, as you stated. Where's he going to go from here? You know.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts on the first two episodes, Joe?
No, I just thought it was great. The only things that I did not appreciate about the story arc here is the time that they spent trying to develop the mother-daughter relationship. I mean, there was enough there where you didn't really have to come circling back to that. They went ahead and introduced the sword master, of course, which
Yeah.
is a character that just, who knows how important his character is going to be in this arc, in this story arc. But they're trying to introduce characters. I get that they're introducing the mom. She's probably going to have another role, pivotal role later on in the series, I think. But them kind of spending too much time on that dynamic, and it took away from me. It
They're
took away.
setting they're setting it up, bro. I'm telling
I
you.
understand that, but I'm
It's gonna
saying
go
to
down.
me,
This
there's
mom's
still
setting
other
you up.
episodes that they can do that in. To me, the first 2 episodes are the episodes you really wanna grab people, attention with, and by
Yeah.
them kind of spending more time on doing that, they could have spent more time on developing other characters, on putting them in different situations, because the thing that made the series so interesting to watch, at least from the first 2 episodes, is that banter between Hawkeye and Kate Bishop, and all their shenanigans and stuff that's going on. That's
Yep.
really the meat and potatoes of the series. I would have liked to see more of the time spent on that, not so much more of the time spent on the mom, but I get that they're trying to go ahead and set things up. I'm just saying at the end of the day, they could have dialed that back a little bit. I think they put scenes in there that didn't really need to be in there. That's just my opinion.
I got you. I got you. Very cool. Great that Disney dropped, the first two episodes already. I think that helped a lot. And this isn't a very long series. I want to say that there's only
Right?
6, 8 episodes, maybe.
I think it's 6.
Yeah. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see exactly where they go from here because they have to get the story and really run with it very quickly because there's not a lot of time, right?
Yeah, Ted ghosted us. He's not on screen, but
Yeah,
his voice still remains.
it's amazing.
He turned into a true ghost head now, JC.
That's what it is. That's what it is. I've taken my ghost form and that's what I'm doing now.
Your muncher form. No, but
Let's see.
he's
Go
just
ahead.
having some technical difficulties with the camera. But overall, it was a very enjoyable series. First 2 episodes sets things up really, really great for you to get excited about where this series is going to go. And not only that, but the introduction of these newer characters that are going to be, let's say, a part of Phase 4, like Echo, for example. Swordmaster. We don't know what's going to happen with that character either. So interesting, to say the least. And Kate Bishop's character, what is she gonna wind up doing, moving forward in the MCU? What's her place gonna be? I would like to see her, stick around. I think she's, stealing the show right now in these first 2 episodes. I love her character.
Absolutely. She's fantastic. She's energetic. She's fun to watch. Her delivery of her lines, the comedy that she is doing, it all works. It's all great, especially bouncing things off of Jeremy Renner. They just work really well together. So far, I'm really liking what the show's doing. At first, I was a little hesitant on like, this doesn't feel like a really big mystery here that they're spending a lot of time on, but I'm actually coming around to it. I feel that there's some big twists on the horizon, and they're teasing a lot of major players in the Marvel comics or the Marvel universe. So it'll be very very interesting to see exactly what happens with all of that.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm excited to watch this. I'm also excited for the Book of Boba that's gonna be premiering as well, in the upcoming month of December. So, very excited about that. So, I think as this Hawkeye series starts to come to an end, we got to look forward to the Book of Boba. I see what you're doing, Disney, and I like it.
Just
Well, that
spreading it out.
is our discussion on the Hawkeye series. We want to hear from you. Let us know what you thought about the first two episodes of the Hawkeye series, which is on the Disney Plus streaming service. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, or you could send us a message on Facebook just by clicking that send message button, or you can always contact us on the contact page of our website at www.countdowntothegeekcast.com.
Oh, and shout out to JC real quick because the new episodes of Star Trek Discovery are going on, and I have watched great stuff. Me and JC are excited about this new series, and we need to get Ted into Star Trek Discovery.
You want
What?
me to watch Arcane? You want me to watch all these other shows? I still got to finish Masters of the Universe. You got to decide what you want me to watch, Joe.
There's just a stampede of shows that have come out right now. It's like everything that got delayed production of the pandemic, now it's hitting at once. The Great on Hulu. Uh, Young Justice is going on. Hawkeye, and then you got Book of Boba Fett. Uh, hell, 12 Dates of Christmas, HBO Max, Challenge All Stars season 2. Fuck, there's a lot. It's hard to keep up with everything. We're
Yeah,
so
just
behind.
come over here to the studio, Ted. I got like 6
Entified.
screens, man. You can watch them all at once.
Yeah. Entified season 2, Dear White People season, whatever. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy.
It absolutely is crazy, and it's exciting. It's exciting that there's so much stuff that's coming out. Fans are just, fans are just, I don't know. We're living the dream right now. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
There's
It
so many
really
things, and yet we can't really, I don't know, watch it all. And that's, unfortunate to say, but it's just going to keep happening, I think.
Yeah, more than likely, but it's a good problem to have, lots of
Yeah.
content available right now, especially during this time of year, during the holiday season. Because let's face it, mostly everyone is going to wind up spending some time at home with your family and your kids. And what better way to connect with the kids and enjoy some downtime than to be able to watch some quality television? I know there's some stuff that JC is probably going to watch with his kiddos. They got a new Star Trek animated series that's premiering on Nickelodeon. So that's something that maybe you and the kids can watch.
That might be something that get interested. I know Animaniacs is kind of on the radar right now too.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely, we're able to watch that.
Is that out
That
already?
Yeah, season 2 is already out
I have not had
in a few
any
weeks.
time. I've not
Yeah.
had any time, and I apologize.
If you
But
But
thought
yeah,
Ted,
they made
that
fun,
was
if you thought they
something
something.
made
under a
fun of
rock.
Trump before, shit, my God, it's on another level this
Yeah,
season.
I think Ted's just on his high still from the Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah, I haven't even gotten a chance to see that because I've been so busy with everything else too. So,
That and everything else that I'm watching. There's just so much good
mm.
quality television out right now. It's just hard to pick and choose, man. I'm back. I'm back on the screen. So awesome.
Hey, there he is.
Let's see. So up next is our discussion on Young Justice Phantoms.
Yeah, this is
Episode.
where I leave you because I have not watched Young
Well,
Justice at all.
this is
That's
where
one
we
series I need
this
to
is where we tag
move
team
on.
right here. So just kind of
Yeah,
tag, yeah,
tag
yeah,
team.
tag. Boom.
Pam,
Uh,
you're in.
and it's not that I don't plan to watch. I do plan to see Hawkeye. I'm not going to pull a Jericho and wait for it all and then just binge watch it. It's just it's been crazy around here with the
I
Thanksgiving
will
stuff.
watch all of Young Justice at probably almost all at once. I got to catch up on that one next, and that's on my radar. I need to actually catch up on the He-Man uh, series
Yeah.
as well. I watched the first 2 episodes. Word of warning, JC, if you do watch this, do not watch it in front of the kids, especially episode 2.
Oh, I don't plan to. I
Yeah,
just I look at the ratings and check that stuff. Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Definitely not something you want to watch in front of the kids. We'll get into that at a later time. I can text you and tell you why, but yeah, don't watch that in front of the kiddos. I kind of warned Ted as well and Jericho.
mm.
Oh, and make
And
sure you guys stay off of social media starting December 13th. If you don't want any Spider-Man No Way Home spoilers, because I believe that's when it's premiering over in London. They made a big old, fuss about it for the ticket sales because all the fans crashed the servers, man. Always
Yep,
happens.
absolutely did. Just like Endgame. Endgame, I think, was the last time This really happened, and it's tough. Easier for us, I think, because we actually have a local theater chain that's not a national theater chain. If you're trying to go to a national theater chain, if that's all you have in your
Forget it.
area,
Yeah.
then
Good
yeah,
luck.
all those sites and servers crashed. It's rough.
I was lucky enough to get some tickets over at this Antigos Casablanca location. I got 5 tickets for me and the family to watch it on December 17th, and we got in right before the servers finally crashed everything. It was a full group effort. Kids, the wife, me, my sons, everybody had multiple devices open, and everybody was trying to buy tickets all at once. And then my oldest says, I got them. And we're like, yay.
I got a golden ticket.
Yeah, that's what my wife said in the group chat that we have, the family chat. She goes, "Matt has the golden ticket."
Awesome. He
All
must
right,
have
guys.
felt
Well, I'll
he
go ahead
must
and
have felt
leave you at this juncture so you can go ahead and get into your Young Justice discussion. All right, guys. I'll talk to you all later.
There's
appreciate it, Joe. Have a good night, man. And then there were two. Yeah, I'm gonna kind of go over some notes here. So the last time we actually talked about Young Justice was episode 6 of
yeah.
season 4, and that's when Artemis took Onyx and Cassandra Savage, and they were headed to Santa Prisca to rescue Orphan. Well, we
Right.
get to episode 7,
Siete.
and we kind of catch up from there. So I took some notes. I don't know if this is going to go in exactly the same order that everything happened, but I'm going to go ahead and go through this here. Artemis heads to Santa Prisca to rescue Orphan from Lady Shiva. During the rescue, Cassandra Savage reveals she was indeed the mole, and the objective was to steal intel from the Justice League with the use of organic infiltrators. Also, a sub objective for Lady Shiva was to get her daughter back. But yeah, listen, you and I talked about it. I really couldn't figure it out. I thought there was going to be a bigger twist than what we got, but kind of got a mixture of the both because not only did Cassandra lie, but Onyx was telling the truth, but was being used by Lady Shiva, which was something that I had considered. Maybe Onyx doesn't know she's being double crossed or doesn't know that she's being played.
Right.
So it was a kind of a mixture of the two things that we had talked about. As Orphan frees herself from her chains, a fight ensues. Cheshire, Artemis, Onyx, and Orphan are helped by Shade to escape, but not before Artemis is injured when Lady Shiva basically impales her leg with a sword. Craziness. Absolute craziness. Lady Shiva threatens to hurt the League unless Orphan stays, which prompts Orphan to confront her mother, nearly killing her, but stopping before initiating the fatal blow. Cheshire runs away after returning home and is headed to Infinity Island, where Artemis pursues. Cheshire confesses she's no good for Will or Leon. She's choosing to leave in order to protect them. After a heart to heart from Onyx, Raz Al Ghul, the one and only, the Demon Head, offers Cheshire and Onyx to stay on Infinity Island. And I'll get into some other stuff before that. I mean, later on, regarding some other stories that are happening simultaneously. But I skipped a bunch of stuff in 7 around Barbara Gordon, Oracle, helping Artemis along the way. And let me just say, I loved all that. That was very well written, very well done, having Oracle, aka Barbara Gordon, helping her in that way, communicating with her in ways that neither Onyx or Cassandra would know about, because without Oracle, Artemis would have been done from the get go.
Right.
Your thoughts about episodes 7 or 8?
They kind of go together, really. I mean, they set
Absolutely.
they kind of could do it as one long episode, but they set up the battle. I will say the dark fight,
Shade?
the fight scene, the shade, whatever it was. Not only the shade, but when they had the lights
Oh, just
off,
yeah.
just that fight scene is one of the best in the series. you think about trying to animate a fight scene. Now do it when you're trying to portray a black and white, and that was just amazingly well done. Um, I'm really enjoying these 4 episode arcs. It kind of organizes this. It's kind of a great way for them to show how each member of the team is handling their own lives at this point too, and how they're coming to terms with a lot of stuff around it. So, um, but it's always the most confusing part of the series is somewhere around Sansa Prisca and Ra's al Ghul because things just get so convoluted with the League of Shadows. It's insane. So,
Yeah, definitely. And like you're right about 7 and 8. I think that's why another reason why I kind of saved our discussion for 7 was because it really was just a stepping stone into 8. It was just
right,
like infiltrating the island, getting around the island, getting into the compound, finding Orphan, the reveal that Orphan was Lady Shiva's daughter. That was huge.
right,
Seeing that backstory, I also love that part that Barbara Gordon. This is where she suffers her injury. So this is
right,
actually something new that I'm not aware of happened in the comics. Instead of Joker, basically, uh, what's it called, paralyzing her with a gunshot to the back or the spine, she's actually paralyzed. I'm pretty sure she's paralyzed,
yes, yes,
from the waist down because of this
of the sword.
blow, yeah, from Orphan. And even though that happened, Bruce still takes her in. Grayson still embraces her. Tim, I don't know if Jason was alive when this happened. So
Mhm.
Tim, embraces her. So I think it says a lot about the Bat family to still take in the person that paralyzed Barbara. Very emotional moment, but I think it's really cool the way they did that, the way that they're modifying the story, but still keeping in line with Barbara becoming Oracle and more of a secondary presence, technical support on these missions. And you know what else that really stuck out to me is that Barbara said, "Hey, any moment you need, Bat family can be on the way.
Mhm.
Bruce, Grayson, I'll have them over there in a jiffy. You say the word." Artemis never needs it. She never calls him up. She's like, she is really, a solid leader. And I think we always knew that to a certain extent. But to go on this mission under undermanned, undergunned into the heart of the League of Shadows, um, I it says a lot about her.
Mhm.
She is clearly one of the main leaders of this team, and she can hold her own in a variety of situations. This was a suicide mission, and yet she didn't ask for help other than Oracle. But what I'm trying to say is, she didn't ask for any reinforcements. She stayed the course, and she came out of it. Got some luck, Shade, giving one to Cheshire was interesting. I wonder what that's referencing. I wonder if it's something we've seen in another episode. I'm sure it is because that's how these writers are.
How about seeing Shade in like 2 series at once? Because he's also in Stargirl. So
Yes, right.
yeah, so being portrayed 2 different times, like, hey, wait a minute, something's going on here. That's pretty cool.
Definitely. I
Mhm.
actually saved this subplot for the end because I know you probably have a lot to say about it. So Lois and Clark are in Smallville on the Kent farm, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
And this is where they inform to Jonathan that Connor has passed. You must have both loved this, but also was pretty emotional.
Pretty
Pretty
emotional, and they've informed him, but he's young to the point where he doesn't understand the concept. And this Superman, obviously Superman overall, especially this one, has hardly ever had to deal with the idea of death.
right.
Because in this Earth, both of his parents are still alive. You know, uh, Jonathan and Martha Kent are still there. So him trying to explain, they say, well, we told him he passed away. He's thinking, oh, he just passed on by. He'll be back.
Yeah.
and that's tough. And I something I can relate to. Um, my grandfather passed away in January due to COVID, and my kids are old enough to know who their great grandfather was, and you know, they my son will randomly tell me I miss great grandpa. They understand that he's died, and he's we're not ever going to be able to see him again. You know, we just have memories to think about and pictures, and uh, you have moments where you think about him and stuff. And I'm glad my kids at least get to know him. But I as a parent, how do you tell a 4-year-old, a 7-year-old about that? How do you get them to understand in terms they would understand?
Yeah.
And even Superman's human after all. He struggles with that. A very human emotion, a very human, one of the most difficult things I guess you can discuss as a parent, especially when he himself has never really had to deal with it in his own personal life. You know?
Yeah, he still has his parents in
Yeah.
this timeline. He has Lois. He probably hasn't suffered too much loss other than what we know of Wally and potentially Jason. Ted
But yeah,
Cord.
but those characters are more closer to you know the Young
Right.
Justice crew and everyone. Like
Right.
if you're looking at like in his immediate family, he's never had to deal with that.
No.
At least not this Superman. And and even later in the episode, he's blaming himself for it. He's going through the stages of grief. He's regretting that he didn't spend time with Connor, that he missed out on all this time because he was a clone. It was almost like, whoa, do I have to pay child support for this kid? We joked about that, like, wait, I have a son. Wait, is the court's coming after me now? Uh, so he's blaming himself for this. He regret past mistakes, and it's the stages of grief. It's a side of Superman you hardly ever see, and it's a testament to the writers and the creators that uh, they're making these scenes and they're doing them pretty powerful. And you never see your superheroes like this. It's
No,
amazing.
you really don't. Um, so definitely is something new. That's the first
Yes.
thing I thought of was like, I've not seen Superman like this in animated form. Usually, when he's sort of emotional, it's usually just aggressive emotional
Right.
output. Um, so yeah, interesting to see him with the tears and the whole nine.
My question is, why have they mentioned Connor or even referenced it over these last entire 4-episode arc?
s-
Wally
s-
didn't get this treatment, you know?
yeah.
Mm.
So I really listen. I think I know we know these writers always have something planned. I do feel like the subplots that happen in these arcs are filler,
Uh-huh.
but do not take that to mean that they're not important.
Right.
I just think that they're using these subplots to kind of keep the time going to help the push the story forward um and to help extend the length of the episodes. I'm
Mhm.
not saying it's a waste of time. Don't That's not what I'm saying.
No.
But I think that's the primary purpose. And I could be totally wrong about that. But I do like that you're focused on how much they keep bringing up Connor. I don't think he's dead. I don't think
I don't think so either. And now, what Megan and John are coming back to Earth with Emery, I think.
Emery, yeah, and
Yeah,
R probably.
yeah. They're coming back to Earth. One more Martian than they had going over there. So uh, like where is Connor really? That's we never really saw a funeral when you think about it. So I think that would have been like the definite closure, I guess you could say.
Nope,
So
you're absolutely right, sir. You
yeah.
are absolutely right. And I still think that the Legion has something to do with it.
Mhm.
Don't quote me on that. I'm
I'm
not
pretty sure.
There you go.
I'm pretty
And
sure.
And listen, this was a solid arc. They put a lot of thought, they put a lot of meaning into every episode. Artemis being sort of an English either major or have a fascination with reading and great authors. That also makes this even more special. That
Mhm.
every episode was tied to sort of a major book in literature, and that they kept quoting things. They kept quoting things at the end of the episodes. Solid, solid arc. I don't know if I could pick a favorite between McGann and Connors and Artemis and Cheshire's. I think they're both equally good and for many different reasons.
Mhm.
And it it's like just diving into the relationship between Cheshire and Artemis, which we already thought we really knew. We thought we knew everything about that family
No.
dynamic, how bad things were. And Artemis has been protecting her sister from the league since day one of the show. So I think we thought we knew everything, but this adds several layers to that relationship, and I appreciate it immensely. Arc 2, solid, loved it. Cannot wait for more. Speaking
Arc
of
3
more,
is Zatanna, Dr. Fate.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
Yeah.
Arc 3 coming up very soon, and this is the promo art for it. Dr. Fate, Zatanna, Clarion,
Mhm.
Homeboy on the right, I'm pretty sure. Uh,
Yeah.
and then we don't know who this little blonde girl
Excuse
is,
me.
but she looks like she's gonna be some some
Some,
trouble
some Village
for
of the Damned kind of look to her, man. It's scary. You know?
watch out. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying. Watch out. But I love the art, and listen, I we did not get enough Satana in season 3.
Mhm.
We probably don't get enough Satana in most seasons, but definitely in season 3, we saw very little of her. So the fact that they're giving her an entire arc, Doctor Fate, which is one of the OP characters in this series, I can't wait to see what he does. Clarion is just so fun to watch. He
Well,
is
yeah, I was gonna say, let's not forget Zatanna's father is kind of
yes.
cursed with the Dr. Fate helmet. So it's almost like her mission ever since he made that deal. How do I break him from it? She gets like what, an hour a year or something to spend some time with just him. That's part of the deal. So is she finally gonna be able to break him free from the curse of the helmet? You know?
Man, can you imagine if that's what they're gonna go for?
That has to be what Zatanna's working for. She's trying to find a way to free her father. That's got to be it, and that's really something that, well, I know she didn't get a lot of screen time in season 3, like you said, but that's something that they did explore. What she's trying to do. Maybe
Yeah.
they dive into it these next 4 episodes, and maybe if there's another arc down the road too this season. But I think that's really what she's trying to do.
That would be, tremendous, and
Mhm.
so I am all for it. I just know it's gonna be emotional
Yes.
because when, Doctor Fate took over her father, that was, like, one of those heavy moments in those early seasons. So yeah, looking forward to it because the magic between these guys is, like, incredible to see what they do, how creative this writing team gets whenever it's dealing with these characters. So very exciting, and if it just the promo art for this, um seeing sort of outside of Earth, I wonder exactly if this is going to get sort of like a cosmic level. Are there going to be spells that are dealing with the globe or the planet as a whole? It really makes you wonder because all the other promo arts have been pretty spot on with regards to the characters and what's happening in the background. So very exciting. This show's great. This show's
It
fantastic.
is.
And if you were wondering, now that are 12 episodes, almost. We're 8 episodes in for sure, but now we have the
Yes.
next four titles, and the next four titles also go in line with the overall anagram
Invitation.
invitation 2.
Yeah.
Yes. We don't know what's after that. We don't know any episode titles after 12. But so far, the first 12 letters of these episodes spell out invitation 2.
Mhm.
Now, we'll take guesses. What do you think it's going to be? Let us know. Send us a comment, send us a post, send us a tweet, whatever you want. Let us know what you think it is. Weeks ago, I already mentioned my guess was going to be invitation to the Phantom Zone,
Mhm.
and I'm not 100% set on that.
Is that
But if it,
26 letters?
that is 26.
Okay.
I spent a while doing this. I also thought about
You've got time. You've got
I
time. Yeah.
I had a little time on my hands when this happened. I was on vacation.
Yeah.
I I wanted to include something regarding Apocalypse because we've yet to have the Young Justice team go head to head with Darkseid and Vandal Savage and Darkseid,
Right.
meaning like head to head final battle type stuff. And maybe the writers are saving that. Maybe the showrunners are saving that for like a future season down the road. But what else is kind of left for the bad guys to do, for the villains to do? The villains already taken over the Justice League at one point, and um, I don't know. It's just interesting. I
Right.
want to see it. I want to see the final battle. I want to see the big bads go up against this team, and we still need to bring them together, the team. But I'm loving the format. It was we were all questioning how this is going to work out, and it's working out great. I think.
Mhm.
Awesome. Any final thoughts on episodes 7 or 8, or where we're headed?
Just a great job, really. I mean, this is they explore so much, and I know there's like some minute detail we haven't even discussed that they're just going to come back and reference episodes later, you know. But I'm enjoying it. I'm liking the 4 episode arcs. I'm liking that every character's kind of getting their moment in the spotlight, and I'm very excited to see where this antenna arc goes.
Absolutely. And we want to hear from you. Let us know what you thought about episodes 7 and 8 of Young Justice Phantoms season 4. You can drop a comment in the comments below of this post or this video, or you can reach us by clicking the send message button on Facebook, on our page at Countdown to the Geekcast, or you can always email us on the contact page of our website at www.countdowntothegeekcast.com. For the Geekcast, my name is Steady. Please, please, please go look into the Celebrity Fan Fest um, film festival featuring screenings of Ghostbusters Afterlife with Winston Zeddemore himself, Ernie Hudson. We will be present with several groups, fan groups for Ghostbusters. There's several locations, several show times. Head on over to Celebrity Fan Fest on Facebook. Follow the link to get more information. With me on this episode is the man, the myth, the legend. You know him as JC.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And if you got your Spider-Man tickets, congratulations. But do be safe going to the theater. They're opening back up, and it's getting winter time, so you know what that means, right? We're not out of the woods yet, but please, please be safe out there, everybody. Enjoy the movie. Let's not get sick. So.
Absolutely. Have a great night, guys.